Welcome to the Dental Marketing Podcast, a podcast that helps dentists win in the online world of modern-day marketing. Each week, we cover the most cutting-edge marketing tactics and strategies that are working right now across our client base to drive leads, phone calls, and more new patients for dentists. Now, here's your host and founder of Kickstart Dental Marketing, Chris Pistorius.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the No BS Dental Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Pistorius, and on this show, we talk about straight to the point, no BS tactics, tricks, and strategies that my company has been using successfully for over 13 years in dental marketing. Now, there's no fluff here. That's just great information that you can start using today to increase your bottom line. So if you're a dental practice owner or a manager, front desk professional, or whatever, be sure to click on the subscribe button so that you can keep up with all of our latest episodes and latest tips and tricks. Now, today I want to talk about some no-nonsense tips and things that you really need to realize to be successful in marketing your practice. So let's get to it. I get a lot of questions around what are some of the things, like some of the first things that I can do on my own to market my own dental practice, or, for practices that aren't quite ready to get help from an agency like ours? What are some things that we can do, some tips or tricks that we can do to really help ourselves out a little bit? And there's a long list of that for sure. But the first place I always recommend people start is with something called Google Business Places. Now, that may sound new to you because Google loves to change names of their products and services sometimes. And what I'm talking about, Google Business Places, was just recently they just changed the name maybe about a month or so ago from Google My Business. Right. And before that, it was something else. So they keep changing the name a little bit, but it's the Google My Business listing that you have, or now it's the Google Business Places. And this is a free listing that everybody has. It's probably already been created for you. If you don't already own your own profile, you should go and do that. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But one thing that I do want to share with you is that this is probably the foundation. If you're going to do this on your own, or you want a quick win for marketing, you really need to go and claim that Google Business profile, fill it out. And I'm going to actually go over that with you today and show you how we fill these things out when we're working for clients doing this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here so you can see some things as I go through them. But if you aren't familiar with Google Business Places, if you're just starting out and you're not even sure if you have a profile or not, just go into google.com/business, as you can see on my screen right up here. This will really show you this will get you to the page where you can go in and either sign in or manage now. If you're not sure you have a page, you can kind of click into the manage now and it'll take you through, okay, what's your business name and things like that. I'm already logged in, so it's not going to show you kind of the same thing it'll show me. But this is where it all starts. If you need some help with this, let me know. I'd be more than happy to take you through this one-on-one as well. So what is Google Business Places? Why is it so important? Okay, let me tell you. This is a search for a dentist in Austin, Texas, right? This is one of the most common searches, along with like dentist near me or orthodontist near me, or something like that. So you do a search, and a lot of times you'll have paid ads that show up here at the top of the page. But this middle section, whenever you have some sort of geo modifier, like a city, a state, a zip code, or a phrase like near me, Google will automatically bring back local results. And this is Google Business Places. So these are listings of like Shadow Rock Dentistry, Castle Rock Dental Health, Oakwood Dental. They all have a free profile that they can go in and fill out this information. And so it's incredibly important with your marketing strategy, because this is a very well received page or a section within Google, where a lot of local consumers make decisions on whether they're going to call you or click on you or whatever it may be. I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but this is like the new yellow pages, okay? Because it's different than, nobody loves paid ads, although a lot of times they don't even realize they're clicking on paid ads, and they can work very well, but that's another episode. But this middle section, this local section, is gold, because they can get a lot more information here than just even a regular listing underneath, right? They can get your website, they can get driving directions, they can see your reviews. I mean, if they click on these things, it opens up really what we call a knowledge panel, and they can see more pictures, they can get more information, they can see your popular times, all the reviews here. They can click for, it's just a lot of information. So there's a lot that they can get off of this. So people really levitate to this. And in fact, when we do marketing campaigns for dentists, we track everything. So we know where every lead is coming from. And I want to show you, this is our latest report over the last 30 days. I'm going to bring this up on my screen here. And what this is showing you, let me zoom in a little bit, is that these are all of our leads, and this is phone calls, and this is also form fill outs. Okay. So if somebody fills out a web form, this is where all of our leads have come from over the last 30 days. And we represent, quite a few dental practices throughout the country. So we had 8,000, a little over 8,000 leads come in. This doesn't include like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. But this does show us that GMB, which I don't have it named properly in my system yet. It's GBP for Google Business Places, is by far the number one leader when it comes to how many leads are coming in. And so that middle section is really the Google Business Places section is driving. Out of those 8,000 total leads for the agency, it's driving over 3,600 of those leads came from that Google Business Place section. Okay. So really big chunk. And so that's why it's so important, is that, if you get this thing right and you optimize it correctly and you do good SEO with it, this middle section right here is going to drive a bunch of new patients for you. In fact, I tell my clients that really SEO, and along with some paid advertising on Google, should really become your number 2 best source of new patients. Number 1 should always be word of mouth, but this should be number 2. And sometimes this can even take over word of mouth. Just totally depends on what market you're in and what your competition looks like, things like that. Now, the next question I get usually is, okay, well, I filled out my profile, Chris, but I don't see myself. Right. So this is the problem with Google Business Places, is it's incredibly important for a local dental practice to be listed here. But as you can see on the first page within this section, there's really only 4 listings, right? And one of them, if you see here, is a paid ad. So you can do paid ads with Google and show up here as well as up here. Right. And that's what we do for our clients too, is we do some paid advertising in the beginning as well, so that they can get some exposure, and paid ads do very well for us. But one of these listings is a paid ad. And then there's 3, what we call organic listings, where you don't really pay to be there. It's just how well you optimize your profile and how well your overall SEO is, like on your website, your backlinks, your content. I mean, there's a checklist of over 100 and some things that we do to get people to rank here. But the problem is that people assume, and I'm using my air quotes here, that the best quality dentists are the ones listed right here. So there's a lot of times they won't click on this button to go to see more. It's usually the decision is made within these first 4. So it's really important if you can. Now, I'm not saying you can't be successful if you're not in the first 3. We have a lot of clients that we can't quite get into the top 3. Yeah, but there's a lot that we do, and they do better than people that are like, say, 5th. So they ask me, how do I get myself here? I've optimized my profile. What else can I do? So what I want to take the time with this podcast to talk about is the actual profile itself and how you should fill it out and go through those metrics. Okay. So that's what we're going to get into next. Okay. So we are now, we've logged into our Google Business page, and we've selected one of our clients here. And this is what it looks like when you want to go and edit things or fill things out. It just brings back basically a Google page, right? But you can see what's different up here is that it'll say your Google business profile up here, right? And then it will give you options right here where you can actually go in and do edits and changes. So I just want to show you what we've done for this client and how we filled some things out and give you some tips on how you can do this yourself. Okay. So the first thing is edit profile. We'll click on that. So this is the basics, right? This is your business name, your category, your description, things like that. Now, a couple of tips here. There are people that will go out and use a keyword in their business name. That's a big no-no, and you can get in trouble for doing that from Google. So for instance, this is Dental Solutions of Central Park. That's their actual business name, okay? But some people will try to game the system, and it's not usually the dentists that do this. It's the agencies that work for them because they're trying to get some results quicker, and it may get some quicker results, but in the long run, it's going to hurt you because Google will see that you're trying to spam the system and they'll penalize you for it. So that they'll put in, like, for instance, Dental Solutions of Central Park, and then they'll do a dash here and they go, your dentist in Aurora, because they're trying to put dentist and keyword and a keyword geomodifier like city in there as well. And so that will help rankings a little bit, but only short term until they catch up to you. So you want to use your actual legal business name in the business name section. Now, business category, there's a lot of categories up here, and you can add a bunch of categories, right? My recommendation here, though, from doing a lot of years of testing, is don't add categories that you don't actually do, right? If you're not a cosmetic dentist and you don't provide dental or cosmetic dental services, don't add that as a category, okay? Because Google will be able to check that. And if you're just, trying to advertise for endodontist and, orthodontist and everything else, and there's not even services that you provide, they're going to spank you for that. Okay. So only use the categories that you actually are in and you actually provide services for. So like you can click add categories. And as you start typing things in, you can see pediatric, oncologist, cardiologist, pediatric dentist, and you can select that. But don't do it unless you do pediatric dentistry. That doesn't mean you necessarily have to be a registered pediatric dentist, but you have to at least provide pediatric dentistry. So if you don't see kids, don't select it as a category. Pretty simple, but a lot of people get that wrong. Okay. Business description. This is hugely important. So you can see here that you have to be careful with this. You can't be spammy anywhere. If you read something and it feels even a little bit like spam, then rewrite it, because that's not why we're doing this. And Google is really big about quality of your content, not, spamming the system and trying to put keywords everywhere. Now, we take the approach of you have 750 characters here. Okay. Do not just copy off of your website and put it in here. Okay. That's not what Google wants. That's like duplicate content and won't get you in trouble per se, but it's not going to help you a whole lot either. You want really to write a good 700 all the way up to 750 if you can characters about your practice. Now you can see that we've slipped in a city and state here, right? And that's fine. You can do that. But don't get spammy, right? So we've got dentist in Aurora CO here. And, that applies to what we're writing about. So it works. Okay. It works naturally, but don't force it. Don't put keywords in here that just don't make sense towards your content. Use as much of this as you can. I wish in this case, we would have tried to use all 750, because content is king with this. How Google determines if you're going to show up versus your competition could come down to something little like this. Like they have a better business description. Okay. Don't use links in your business description. Don't try to link to one of your pages on your website here. This isn't the place for that. Okay. So description's important. Be unique about it. I always tell people, let's talk about your unique selling proposition here, right? We all know there's 50 dentists in every market at least, right? So what makes you stand out from them? What's the difference maker for you? And you can talk about that here, right? So that would be a good tip for you. Opening date. We don't have an opening date here, so that's bad on us. We should have that. Make sure you put in, this year, month. You don't have to put the day here, just the year and the month of when you started. Contact information. You would think this is pretty basic, but you'd be shocked at how many people I see get this wrong. And by the way, if you haven't gone and claimed your business profile on Google, they will do their best to fill this stuff out for you because they'll show you on there. The rules with Google is that for a dentist, you get one listing for your practice, so the practice name, and then each professional, each dentist that works for the practice will get their own individual listing as well. Okay. They'll make these for you if you don't, because they'll get information from census and, different data points, and they'll try to fill these out for you. But the point to this is that sometimes the information that they fill in for you isn't correct. Okay. Like phone numbers, addresses, descriptions, categories, things like that. So make sure you go in and claim your profile and get all this stuff straightened out. But the phone number, this is where you set this up. Now, we use call tracking on these. So this first phone number is a call tracking phone number that we use so that we can record and listen to every call. And then my team will actually determine if it's a good call or a bad call. And they'll also flag it for quality assurance. If the call didn't go great and maybe somebody at the front desk didn't quite do what they were supposed to, we make sure that our clients know about that. But put the call tracking number first as the primary, but always make sure that you list your real phone number. So this is this practice's actual phone number. Make sure you add that as an additional phone number here. Okay. Because what Google does is that they look at all different sources. So you have a listing like on Yahoo, on Bing, on Yelp, on 50 of these other local sites, and they look for what we call NAP consistency. And that's name, address, phone number consistency. Okay. So we want to make sure that that's consistent, and it's okay to use a tracking number. Okay. But just make sure you also use your main phone number as well. Okay. And you put that as an additional phone number here. Okay. Website, very easy. This is just a link to your website. This is how they know where your website is. And they do look at your website. When you put this link in here, they're going to look at how well it's optimized, how fast does it load, do you have page titles, different aspects of your website. So it's important that you've got good SEO or search engine optimization tactics going on your website as well. But this is the website. Short name, this is if you just want to name it. In fact, it looks like you can't edit them once you put it in. So we typically use this. It's just a short name for Google to know who you are, and then people can see this as well. We usually use the practice's name here. Okay. COVID-19, they've still got this thing hanging around. If you have information or a page on your website that is talking about your COVID policies, you can put that here. If you have that page, definitely put it here. If you don't force it. Menu link, this isn't really for you. For dental practices, this would be more for like restaurants, things like that. So we typically leave that blank. Virtual care, this client does not do virtual care, but if you do have a link where people can do telehealth or anything virtually, you can add that link right here. Now, locations. This is an important one. So it's going to ask you for your business location, and this is basically where you show your address. Okay. 2501 Dallas Street puts a point right on the map right here. And you can actually adjust that, because sometimes we've had clients that will put their address in here and it shows the big red dot here across the street from where they actually are. And that can cause some problems with your SEO rankings. So just make sure that this big red dot here, or whatever this is, map posting, is in the right spot. And if not, just go ahead and adjust it. Okay. Service area. So this one's kind of controversial for dentists because, service areas are typically done for like plumbers and, people like that, their office is in one location, but they service like the whole state or, whatever it may be. So you can put specific markets here that you want to say that you service. Now, if you're a specialist, like an implant dentist or endodontist or something like that, people will travel for that. So you can definitely open up other markets with this. I think if you're a local general dentist, though, probably just your business location would be fine. Okay. Business hours, get this right? I mean, make sure it's the same here. Make sure it's same on your website. Make sure it's, consistent everywhere. Okay. Holiday hours, you can go in here. Google loves it when you can update your holiday hours. So make sure you do that, and people are paying attention to it and they're looking at it. So you want to make sure that this part of it certainly is accurate. Let's see. You can put from the business. You can do an addition here. These are what we call attributes. So if you're Asian owned, Black owned, and they kind of change these based on the practice. So these aren't always exactly the same questions. So, if you're a veteran and you own this, or woman owned, or whatever it may be, make sure you use these attributes. In this case, we didn't do that. So I'm going to go in and do that for them. Click save. Again, content is king. So you want to make sure that you can fill out as much information in this as possible, because that will help you with your rankings. Some more attributes: wheelchair accessible, restroom, seating. So we've got all that done. Crowd. You can put in things like LGBTQ friendly, transgender safe space. Accepts new patients, of course. I'm going to go ahead and click accept. And that's the other thing. Google will sometimes just automatically go through and review these and come up with suggestions for you. So it's not like you can just do this and click save and say, hey, I'm done with it, right? You need to go back and definitely take a look at these. Typically, my team will look at these, our profiles, at least once a week to see if anything crazy has changed, because Google will change things on their own too. So you just got to kind of keep an eye out and make sure that everything is square for you. Okay. So, and then there's got some service options here as well. Online care, what languages do you speak? Things like that. Okay. So fill as much as that information out as you possibly can.
Are you looking to grow your practice but are a little unclear on what the best way is? Let us help you out. We have over 13 years of experience in helping practices just like yours increase new patient growth. Just go to kickstartdental.com and sign up for a free strategy session where we will give you some great insights on how to take your practice to the next level.
All right, so I'm going to go back here. You can read your reviews here. I'm going to give you a tip with this. So these are all the reviews, and you can see that we actually do this for our clients. We respond to all the reviews for them. Make sure you do that. Respond to every review that comes in. And there's two reasons for this. Number one, when your patient takes the time out of their day to leave you a good review, at least show them the common courtesy to respond to that. Because once you respond, they get a notification that you did respond to that, and they like that. Okay. Secondly, your potential new patients are looking at these reviews. Trust me. And when you can go out of your way and write a unique, something a little bit different every time, in terms of a response, they like to see that because they see you're on top of it. They say that you care. They see that you care. Right. So respond to every one of these reviews. And this is where you can do that right here. Okay. Okay, photos. This is a big deal too. Make sure you have photos. You can't add enough photos. Let me put it that way. Okay. Put as many as you can in here. So that photos of your inside of your practice, your logo, your cover photo, fill this out, put as many photos as you possibly can in here. However, don't use stock imagery. Use actual photos, typically from your cell phone's better, because when you take a photo from your cell phone, it puts like some geotagging information like location and longitude, latitude, things like that. And that seems a little bit more unique and a little bit more special to Google. So if you can do them with a cell phone, do them. If you've had professional photos shot, that's fine too. But just don't use stock images. It just doesn't look good either. People can tell that they're stock. Performance. This is a cool one because you can go in and actually see your performance on your Google business profile. So like, for instance, this is July through December, it looks like. They've had 1,300 interactions, which you can click these little eye dots, and it'll actually tell you what that means. Okay. It'll even show you things like calls and how they discovered you, like what they typed in. Dentist near me, Dennis. I told you those are a couple of the most popular. Dental Solutions is Central Park. So, I mean, obviously that's a direct result because they're looking for their name. You can see how they got to your profile. Was it mobile or desktop? A lot of different criteria here. You can see phone calls that have come in. That doesn't get real detailed, like tell you who calls, but we use our call tracking stuff for that. But at least show you kind of a trend of how things are going. You can also turn on online messaging on your profile. And you do that, I believe it's from the app, but they may have just changed that with this recent name. And people can actually interact with you online through messaging. You can do bookings online if you want to. I don't suggest that. You can see how many people got driving directions to your profile. And then finally, you can also see how many clicks from your profile to your website. So you can see quite a few. I mean, 1,300 even looked at it. And then, about almost half of that actually clicked through to the website. So that's how important the website is in this process as well. Advertise, I don't recommend this. This takes you to a platform that's a super dumbed down version of Google Ads. The problem with it is they make it really simple, but they turn off a lot of the features that really makes Google Ads work well. So I don't suggest that you try the advertising part of this. Insurance, this is certainly something that you need to take a look at. Is if you accept insurance, I believe this client is a fee for service. So what you'll want to do is add any insurances that you accept right here. It will help the profile. Again, content is king. Products. Sometimes you sell some products, right? So, product services, things like that. So we've got like preventative, cosmetic, restorative, emergency. Put all that stuff in here. It's great. It's great content, and it'll help you. Q&A. So this is where people will go online onto your profile. I'll show you where it happens. And they'll ask questions. Let's see here. Let me find that. So yeah, questions and answers. So people could click this and ask a question to you, right? And then you can actually use the Google Business Profile platform, Google Business Places platform, to respond to those. So again, another reason to be on the lookout and check these regularly is to see if you have any questions from potential new patients. And you can also set this up to get alerted when that happens, because when you start your profile, they'll ask for your email address, things like that. And when somebody asks a question, it'll typically alert you that they've done that. So a great way to interact with patients for sure. Add an update. Now, this is something that we do quite a bit, and hopefully we've got an example here. Yeah. So these are updates right down here. You can see that they're basically like mini blogs is what I call them. So you can actually do mini blogs within your Google Business Profile. And these mini blogs will help you rank. So you can see it's just typically short snippets. You can put an image. Now, I can't remember. We'll look at it in a second of actually how many characters you get for this. But on each one, you can see 30 views, 0 clicks. 35 views. So you can see how many people are actually looking at these things as well. But this is a great opportunity to create content and make sure Google knows about it. So we typically will do these about twice a week for our clients. It's a great place if you have offers. You can do offers as well. Whatever your offer is, start date, end date. So maybe it's teeth whitening, maybe it's free consultation for cosmetic procedures, whatever it may be. Okay. And events. So if you do an open house or grand opening, anything like that, you can promote the event on this as well. Okay. But this is where those will show up. Let me go back up here. Ask for reviews. So this will generate a link for you. So I'm going to copy this link, and you can do it for email, WhatsApp, or Facebook. And these links are important because they'll actually take you directly to the review page. So if I open up another browser here and I paste in that link, not only does it pop up Dental Solutions of Central Park, it pops up the actual page where people can just go in and leave a review right then and there. So you're saving them a little time versus just sending them a link to this profile page, right? So great way. You can put this link on your business cards, on your website. It's typically what we do. So to try to make it as easy as possible for people to leave you reviews. I'll discard that one. Whoops. And that's most of the setup. Now, you will see this is that turn on chat, so you can turn on the live messaging right from here if you want to do that. Again, you'll get notified when somebody wants to chat. As long as you have all of your information set up correctly, they'll give you reminders on confirming your holiday hours. You've got a new 5-star review here that they want you to respond to. So they'll give you, some help here as well. And it's great guidance. November performance, add an exterior photo, right? Take a picture of your building and put it on here. These are all just little things that you can do to really help establish. So I'm going to wrap up here in just a second. But when I'm asked this and I'm asked, what's one of the things that I can do to help promote my practice myself and for free? this is it. If you can do a very good job of this, put as much content as you can, especially if you're in a smaller market, just doing this might be enough to rank you. Typically in mid-sized markets or larger size markets, it probably won't be, but this will help the process. Okay. And this will also help for people that already know who you are or they've been referred to you. They'll do a search for your name on Google. And this is the kind of stuff that'll pop up on Google first. So even though maybe they didn't find you organically, they're searching for you, and you want to be able to provide those word of mouth referrals, as much information as you possibly can, and talking about your unique selling proposition. Because even though they were referred to you, that's not an automatic that they're going to go with you, right? Because it's, they can check you out online. They can look at stuff like this. And they're also offered your competition when they do these searches. So you just want to make sure you make it as much of a no-brainer as possible to do business with you. So anyway, thanks so much for listening today. I really do appreciate it. I know you're busy, but if you like today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. We release a new episode like this every week to help busy professionals like you. And we really want to try to help you get the most out of your marketing strategy. If you need some help with this, though, if you don't feel like this is your cup of tea, or you don't have time and filling all this stuff out for yourself, and maybe taking that next step and doing some real search engine optimization, please let me know. Just go to our website. It's kickstartdental.com. There's a free strategy button right there on the top of the page. I do all of those myself. So if you fill that out, you'll be actually scheduling a time with me, and I'll be more than happy to give you some great free information, more than what we talked about today. And if you do need some help professionally, certainly we're here for that as well. So I really appreciate it once again, and we'll be sure to see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Dental Marketing Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, www.kickstartdental.com/podcast, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you are ready to grow your practice, then you might want to schedule a free strategy session with us. Just go to kickstartdental.com and click the free strategy session button and give us 15 minutes of your time to change your practice forever. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode. And thanks for listening to the Dental Marketing Podcast by Kickstart Dental Marketing, where dentists go to win online.